When it comes to building emotional safety and lasting love, people underestimate how much of it comes down to the choices you make every single day. Not the big choices you brag about, not the Instagram moments, not the fancy dinners or anniversary trips. Those are great, but they're not the glue. Emotional safety is created in the ordinary moments most people ignore. It's created when you choose patience over anger, curiosity over judgment, understanding over being right. See, anyone can love when things are smooth. Anybody can show up when life is pretty. But the real test is how you show up when things are tense, when someone you love is having a hard day, when communication gets messy, or when life throws something at you neither of you expected. The security in a relationship comes from knowing the other person won't run, won't shut down, won't choose silence, won't choose pride. Emotional safety is knowing you can bring your true self to the table without being punished for it. It's the comfort of being able to talk about your fears, your insecurities, your doubts, your dreams without hearing ladder, judgment, or disrespect coming back at you. It's the trust that when you speak from the heart, the other person won't twist your words or use them as ammunition later. People think love is complicated. No, love is simple, but consistency is hard. And emotional safety grows from consistency. It grows when you say you'll do something and you actually do it. It grows when your actions match your words. It grows when you apologize without excuses. It grows when you show your partner that they don't have to walk through life pretending to be strong all the time. See, some people are in relationships where they feel more alone than they do being single because they can't be real. They can't be soft. They can't be vulnerable. And that happens when emotional safety is missing. You build that safety intentionally. It's not automatic. You build it when you stop keeping score, when you stop using someone's mistakes as leverage, when you offer grace instead of throwing blame. Sometimes what your partner needs isn't advice, isn't solutions, isn't lectures. Sometimes all they need is for you to be a quiet place, a soft place, a place where they can fall apart a little without being judged for it. When people feel emotionally unsafe with you, they stop telling you things. They shut down slowly, silently. They start carrying their problems alone, even though they're standing next to someone who's supposed to be their partner. A relationship will survive a lot of storms, but it won't survive emotional distance. And emotional distance grows when you make home feel like a place where mistakes get punished instead of repaired. Lasting love doesn't come from passion alone. Passions fade, and then rise again, and then fade again. That's normal. Lasting love comes from stability, from knowing what version of you your partner will meet today, from knowing you won't explode, won't disappear, won't change the rules. The biggest fear people have in relationships isn't that someone will stop loving them. It's that the person they love will stop being safe. And safety isn't soft, it's strong. It takes discipline to stay calm in moments of conflict. It takes maturity to listen when ego wants to argue. It takes love to choose gentleness when frustration is boiling. The couples who last are not the ones who never argue. They're the ones who argue without tearing each other down. They disagree without disrespect. They express their hurt without destroying the foundation. You build emotional safety by treating your partner like their heart is something you're responsible for protecting. Because it is. Every word you say, every tone you use, every reaction you give, those things matter more than you think. You don't get to call someone sensitive for reacting to damage you caused. You don't get to shout, slam doors, say hurtful things in the heat of the moment, and then act like emotional wounds heal on their own. They don't. They heal when you take accountability, when you make room for someone else's feelings, when you show them that you value the relationship more than your impulses. Emotional safety also means being loyal in the quiet moments, not just the big ones. It means being dependable even when no one is watching. It's protecting your partner's name in rooms they're not in. It's choosing integrity over temptation. It's making sure your actions don't create insecurity. And lasting love, that's built when you understand that emotional safety isn't a one-time achievement. It's something you maintain, just like trust, just like respect, just like commitment. You build it when you remind your partner that they matter, that you appreciate them, that you're grateful for their efforts. You build it when you check in not because you're supposed to, but because you genuinely care. You build it when you celebrate them, when you encourage their dreams, even the ones that have nothing to do with you. When someone feels emotionally safe in your presence, they grow. They laugh more freely. They open up. They soften. They trust you with the parts of themselves they don't show the world. That's when a relationship becomes unbreakable. Not because life won't test you, but because you've built something strong enough to withstand those tests. And the beautiful part is, when emotional safety is present, everything else becomes easier. Communication becomes smoother. Arguments become softer. Intimacy becomes deeper. The home becomes lighter. And love becomes more natural, more relaxed, more alive, because no one is walking on eggshells. No one is pretending. No one is hiding their emotions behind silence or anger. The relationship becomes a place of peace in a world full of noise, a place of comfort in a world full of pressure, a place of love in a world full of uncertainty. Emotional safety is not a luxury, it's the foundation. And when you commit every day to building it, that's when lasting love begins to grow in ways you never imagined. When it comes to marriage, communication, respect, and shared effort are the three pillars holding everything together. And people love to act like they've mastered all three. But when you look closer, you see most couples aren't communicating. They're just talking. They aren't respecting each other. They're tolerating each other. They aren't sharing the effort. They're keeping score. And that's where the whole thing starts falling apart. Real communication isn't about catching someone slipping. It isn't about proving your point. It isn't about raising your voice until you win some imaginary championship. Real communication is about wanting to understand more than you want to be right. It's about listening not to respond, but to get where the other person is coming from. Because if you don't understand your partner's heart, their words will always sound like attacks instead of expressions. And too many people think, "I told you," is the same as communicating. No. Communication is when both people feel heard, understood, and safe enough to share the truth without fear of judgment or punishment. Respect is the part people mess up quietly. They don't always disrespect loudly, but they disrespect consistently. It's in the sarcastic comments, the dismissive tone, the rolled eyes, the way you ignore needs because you're tired or irritated or distracted. Disrespect sneaks in when you stop appreciating the things your partner does every day. It sneaks in when you talk to everyone else with more kindness than the person you live with. You don't have to curse someone out to disrespect them. A lack of attention can be disrespect. A lack of kindness can be disrespect. A lack of gratitude can be disrespect. And respect is not about worship, it's about value. It's showing the person that their presence matters, their effort matters, their feelings matter. You can't build a marriage if respect is missing, because respect is the soil that love grows in. Without it, everything dries up slowly. What used to be affection turns into resentment. What used to be partnership turns into distance. And once respect is gone, everything else starts slipping with it. Then there's shared effort. And this is where a lot of people fall short. They want a partner, but they don't want partnership. They want love, but they don't want responsibility. They want a smooth relationship, but they don't want to work through the rough patches. A strong marriage is built by two people showing up, not just when it's comfortable, but when it's inconvenient. It's doing the little things even when you don't feel like it, because the relationship means more than your mood. It's carrying each other's weight when one person is tired. It's stepping up without being asked. It's doing the dishes when you didn't dirty most of them. It's checking in when the other person looks overwhelmed. It's being emotionally available even when your own day was long. Shared effort isn't about splitting everything in half. It's about giving what you can when you can, so neither person ever feels alone in the relationship. And communication ties into that. Because when people stop putting in effort, the other person starts assuming things. They assume you don't care anymore. They assume you're pulling away. They assume you've gotten comfortable. If you're not communicating, those assumptions turn into stories, and stories turn into arguments, and arguments turn into distance. See, when effort drops, insecurity rises. And when insecurity rises, trust gets shaky. That's why communication isn't optional. It's not something you do only when there's a problem. It's something you practice daily. You talk about your day, your stress, your thoughts, your worries, your appreciation. You talk so nothing gets bottled up, nothing gets misinterpreted, nothing festers into something bigger. Because silence in marriage is a breeding ground for misunderstanding. And misunderstanding is a quick path to resentment. People also need to understand that communication isn't just verbal. It's in your actions. It's in your tone. It's in your consistency. It's in whether you show up the same way privately as you do publicly. Your partner pays attention to whether you keep promises. They pay attention to whether you follow through. They pay attention to the energy you bring into the home. All of that communicates something. You can't disrespect someone all day and then say, "I love you," at night and think that fixes it. Love is not a bandage for wounds you keep causing. The effort has to show up in behavior, not just words. When both people respect each other deeply, communication becomes easier. You stop talking at each other and start talking to each other. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding thoughtfully. You stop trying to win the argument and start trying to solve the problem. Because winning against your partner is really losing as a team. Marriage is not a competition, it's cooperation. And when both people commit to shared effort, the relationship stops feeling heavy. You don't feel like you're dragging someone. You don't feel like you're begging for attention. You don't feel like you're parenting a grown person. You feel supported. You feel balanced. You feel like you're moving together, not apart. The problem in many relationships is that one person is pouring everything in while the other person is comfortable receiving. And a relationship like that can't sustain itself. Love drains when effort is one-sided. Respect fades when appreciation is missing. Communication becomes strained when one person feels unheard. And once those things start slipping, everything else follows. But when both people choose effort, even small effort, it changes the whole environment. The home feels lighter. Problems feel manageable. Stress feels shared instead of carried alone. And that sense of partnership strengthens the bond on its own. Respect also shows up in how you talk about your partner to other people. It shows up in how you handle conflict. You don't embarrass them. You don't insult them. You don't belittle them. You don't attack their character. You address the issue, not the person. Because once you start tearing down the person, you're not solving anything. You're causing wounds that last long after the argument ends. The strongest couples don't avoid conflict. They just fight fairly. They fight with love in the room. They don't hit below the belt. They don't weaponize vulnerabilities. Respect stays present even in disagreement. That's what allows communication to stay open and effort to feel worth it. And when all three, communication, respect, shared effort, come together, something powerful happens. You start building a marriage that feels safe, feels warm, feels steady. A relationship where both people feel valued, heard, supported, and appreciated. A relationship where love isn't just a feeling, but a daily practice. A relationship where effort isn't a chore, but a natural expression of care. A relationship where respect isn't demanded, but earned through kindness, consistency, and understanding. When two people commit to these things every day, the marriage becomes unshakable. Not because you never face challenges, but because you face them together. Not because life gets easy, but because you become a stronger team. And that's the real secret to lasting love in marriage. Two people deciding day after day to put in the work that keeps the connection alive and the foundation strong. A family doesn't become strong because of one big moment. It becomes strong because of the small, consistent actions that happen over and over again, even when nobody is watching and nobody is clapping. Creating a family built on trust and honesty isn't something that happens by accident. It's a culture you build, a tone you set, a rhythm you commit to every single day. People think family is automatic just because people live under the same roof. But that's not the truth. A house is four walls. A family is built one choice at a time. It's built when people choose honesty even when the truth is uncomfortable. It's built when people choose trust even when life gets shaky. It's built when people choose small actions of love, big or tiny, because every one of them plants a seed in the foundation. Trust inside a family is not just about loyalty and promises. It's about predictability. It's about knowing people will show up for you in the ways they've shown up before. Kids, spouses, everyone in the house. They all learn to trust through routine. They trust because you keep your word. They trust because your reactions stay consistent. They trust because you don't say one thing and live another. And trust isn't built when everything is going right. Trust is built when things go wrong and someone still stays gentle, still stays present, still stays committed. Trust grows when a mistake becomes a moment of teaching, not a moment of tearing someone down. When people in the home know they don't have to hide, don't have to pretend, don't have to shrink themselves just to keep the peace. That's when trust takes root. Honesty inside a family is not about dumping every raw thought out just because it's true. Honesty is about truth delivered with love. It's about clarity spoken with care. It's about being real without being cruel. People and families hurt each other the most when they confuse honesty with harshness. Honesty should build, not break. It should open the door, not slam it shut. And you build a culture of honesty by making it safe for people to speak their truth without punishment. If people in your home don't feel safe telling you how they feel, they're going to lie to protect themselves. They're going to hide things, not because they want to, but because they're scared of the consequences. Honesty can only grow where judgment and ridicule die. You create honesty by listening more than you lecture, by asking more than you accuse, by understanding more than you react. And then there are the small, consistent actions. These seem small, but they are the heartbeat of a strong family. It's the good morning greetings, the checking in, the acts of service no one asked for, the hugs before leaving the house, the simple "how was your day?" that makes someone feel alive again. It's the way you put your phone down when someone is talking to you, the way you make time even when you're tired, the way you sit together, eat together, talk together, laugh together. These moments may look small, but they shape the emotional climate of a home. They make it warm instead of cold, connected instead of distant. Families don't fall apart overnight. They fall apart in the silence between those small moments. When those small moments disappear, love starts fading quietly, and people don't realize it until the distance becomes too large. A strong family is not created by perfect people. It's created by people who are willing to try again after failing. It's created by people who apologize when they mess up, people who forgive even when it's hard, people who understand that nobody in the home deserves to walk on eggshells, people who know the power of a calm tone, a gentle word, a reassuring smile. You teach the family how to love by how you love. You teach them how to communicate by how you communicate. Kids don't learn from what you tell them. They learn from what you show them every day in real time. When they see love lived out in small ways, they learn loyalty. When they see honesty handled with kindness, they learn courage. When they see trust honored, they learn how to trust themselves. You also build a strong family by creating space for everyone to be human. Everyone is going to have bad days. Everyone is going to feel overwhelmed, frustrated, confused, or upset. A healthy family understands that emotions aren't weaknesses, they're signals. They don't dismiss each other's feelings with, "You'll be fine," or "Stop crying," or "Get over it." They make room for those feelings. They help each other process them. They don't shame each other into silence. Emotional validation might seem small, but it's one of the strongest building blocks of connection. When someone in the family says, "I hear you, I understand you, I'm here," it heals wounds before they turn into scars. You also can't build family trust if people don't see effort. Effort from both sides, effort in chores, effort in communication, effort in affection, effort in being present. A family works best when roles aren't fixed, when everyone helps, when no one feels like they're carrying everything alone. You don't ask someone to do something you avoid doing. You don't expect listening if you don't listen. You don't expect respect if you give disrespect. Everyone plays a part. Everyone contributes. Everyone shows up in their own way. And when that happens, the home feels like a team, not a battlefield. Forgiveness is one of the most essential small actions, and it's one most people struggle with. Not the big forgiveness after huge mistakes, but the everyday forgiveness after small irritations, misunderstandings, or careless words. Families fall apart when people hold on to every small offense, when they stack grievances instead of clearing them. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the behavior. It preserves the bond. It says, "You matter to me more than this moment." And when forgiveness becomes a habit, so does peace. Love in families doesn't grow from intensity. It grows from regularity, the small, consistent efforts to show affection, speak kindly, give appreciation, and make time add up into something strong enough to withstand storms. You don't need perfect behavior, perfect money, perfect routines, or perfect personalities. You need consistent warmth, consistent truth, consistent support, consistent presence. The strength of a family is in those small daily habits that seem too ordinary to matter, but they matter the most. A home becomes happy when people feel seen, valued, accepted, and safe. When they know that no matter how hard the world gets, they can walk into the house and feel lighter, not heavier. When they know they won't be judged for their weakest moments. when they know they won't be compared, criticized, or ignored. A strong family is built on the work nobody applauds, the conversations nobody sees, the sacrifices nobody talks about, the grace nobody announces, and the love that shows up even when the day has worn you down. That's what creates a happy family and a bond that lasts across years, generations, and challenges.